Hello students, I am Deepika Raina, Assistant Professor, School of Architecture, Noida International University. Today I am going to introduce you all to architecture and basic design. Today I am going to let you know what is basically the principles of architecture. There are various principles of architecture and we are going to discuss some of them. The principles of design. There are some concepts of basic design which let you know how to design anything and how to perceive things, and some of them are, next please. There is no priority of using a basic design, there is no priority of using any concept, but there are a compulsion of using the concepts. Without concepts, you can't design anything, you can't design a building, you can't perceive a building. Next, the basic principles of visual design. Why we are considering visual design? Because visually is what we see, architecture is what we see, what we perceive, what we visualize, and some of them are balance, rhythm, harmony, and contrast. These are the four aspects which we are going to discuss today. Next please. First we are going to discuss balance. What is balance? Balance is something which we see visually. It's like a visual balance. When we visually see something, how we balance it, how we perceive it, like you are seeing two images. These are the two images, two components which we are going to perceive, which we are going to see, how we are going to see it. Like if there are two objects on a weighing machine, how if it is balancing or it is balancing not. This is the basic concept of design, how we are going to balance the two buildings, how we are going to balance the components of the buildings. This is the basic concept of balance. Next please. Like you are seeing the images below. This is symmetrical balance and asymmetrical balance. Sometimes a symmetrical balance can be unbalanced and sometimes an asymmetrical balance can be balanced. It depends on how we perceive things, it depends on how we see things, it depends on how we perceive an object, a building, or some things which are related to design. Next please. Basically balance is a feeling, is a visual feeling, how we visually see, how we visually perceive the objects which are around us, how we are going to see a thing which is linear on that way. If there is something in linear and we are saying there is equal balance on the both sides, then yes, it is balanced. Next please. For example, if there is a building, if there is a circle and it is not balanced, we are putting a darker circle around it. Hopefully it is balanced because color, shape, texture, it balances things. These are the some of the components which balance equation, which balance a object, or which balances a frame. Next please. Balance in three-dimensional objects can be easily seen. Like we can easily see an object which is three-dimensional because it's easy to see, okay, there is an object, we are going to see it, it's easily balanced, it's easily recognizable, and it's easily, if there is an object and it is three-dimensional, we're okay to see, yes, it is balanced or it is not, which is very difficult in a two-dimensional object. Next please. There is a variation of balance, like a building can be balanced, an object can be balanced, a component can be balanced, a window can be balanced, a door can be balanced. It all depends on how we perceive and how we see things. The next is rhythm. What basically rhythm is? Rhythm is an harmonic procession. What do you mean by that? For example, if there is a frame and we are considering it a building and there are two objects or three objects of the same shape and the same size, it creates a rhythm because we are seeing it in the same form, in the same shape, and in the same way. For example, then another example can be if there is a building and there are the windows of the same shape, this is also a rhythm. Next please. Rhythm is also a movement. It creates a sense of movement. If we are seeing something and we are seeing an object, it creates a movement, a visual movement. It is also called a rhythm. Next please. It is usually achieved by placing objects of the same shape, of the same size and the same color. Thank you. Same. Next. Next, please. Why rhythm is being used in designing? Rhythm is used to create excitement in an object. Rhythm creates excitement, it creates a visual balance, a form of excitement in an object. An artist use, an architect use this form of design or this object to create excitement in their designs, in their paintings, in their form, in their shape. Next please. Next is contrast. What is contrast? Contrast is creating differences in a design. When we design an object, for example, there is a big object and in comparison to that there is a small object. It creates a contrast. These contrasts create excitement in an object, a visual delight in an object. There is a point of emphasis in the object. In the design, there is a point of emphasis because of the contrast, there is an excitement because of the design. This contrast can be created by color, shape and form. Next please. Contrast is showing differences in object, like you are seeing this in the images. There is contrast created by the form and by the colors in a building. Next please. Basically the contrast is achieved by artists, architects to create some form of emphasis in their object. If there is a black frame and you create a white dot in that object, it creates emphasis in their building, it creates emphasis in their design, it creates emphasis in their paintings. Next please. Contrast, as I've earlier discussed, contrast can be created by texture, shape, form, color and various other objects which is used and which can be created by these objects. Next. Contrast show a quality of object. An architect whenever uses contrast in an object, he tries to include a sense of excitement in their project, so that the object, whenever someone sees the object, it creates an emphasis, it creates an excitement and it creates an object so that someone is compelled to see the object. Next please. Harmony. Harmony is somehow related to unity. Whenever we discuss unity, it's like keeping all the objects together. Harmony is same as unity. Some artists, some designer keep them in the same plate and some says it's different from each other. But harmony is basically when we keep one object in harmony to the other object. The best example can be if there is an object, if there is a box or there is an object and there are two objects in between, these objects create a harmony with the background of the object. These objects doesn't matter if the background of the object, the color of the object doesn't matter to them, the shape of the object doesn't matter to them. So these objects are creating harmony with each other. These objects are creating harmony with the background of the object. This is basically what we mean by harmony. Why harmony is important in a building or in a design or in a painting, anything? It is important because it can relate to the object, it can relate to the design. We can relate to the design, we can relate to the object. This is why it is important in a design. Next please. Harmony, as I discussed, can be related to the object, can be related to the shape, but the basic feature of the harmony is it doesn't matter what the shape is. The two different shapes can be in harmony. That is the basic point of harmony. Doesn't matter if there are two circles or there are two squares, there are two rectangles, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if the triangle is isosceles, the triangle is equilateral, but the true triangles can be harmony with each other. Next please. Like the paintings, these are the two paintings and you can see how these paintings are harmony with each other. Doesn't matter if there is a line, there is a shape, there are perpendicular shapes, there are organic shapes, but the pictures are in harmony with each other. Next please. So by these four objects, what we discussed today is rhythm, harmony, contrast and balance. These four objects, these four principles of design let us know how we design an object, how can we design an object, and how the basic principles of design are important in a design. It doesn't matter if it is architecture, if it is painting, or if it is a basic design. These objects are very important in any designing or in any architecture. Thank you very much. In next lecture, we'll discuss the other principles of design. Thank you.